Hello, guys. Good evening. Hello, everyone.
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Right. We are waiting for the rest of the students to connect to our session. Let's give them just another minute, okay? We have 8 students so far, so we need to wait a little bit longer for the rest of the students to connect. So while we wait, let's take a look at the agenda and we will start correcting the homework or the activity that we didn't finish yesterday. Okay, so let's start. Today is our class number 3 of level B1.5 and today is May 25th. So let's take a look at the agenda before we continue checking the attendance and so on. So first on the agenda is to check the meaning of the idioms that we saw yesterday. Then we're going to discuss point number 4, and we are going to play a little quizzes to practice the idioms. And then we're going to start the reading activity of a blind date. We're going to cover the last grammatical topic of Unit 5, is question forms. And we're going to do an activity in groups, practice activity in groups on page 51. So that is our agenda for today. We are going to finish Unit 5 during this part of the class. At 8 p.m. you will start Unit 6. Sorry, you will start Unit 6 with teacher Sandy. Right? So let's begin checking the attendance. Let's check the attendance and then we will start with the kids. All right, Gerson Arismendi. Gerson is not here yet. Jean-Claude, okay. Jessit Calderon.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrés Correa.
Present, teacher.
Silvia Cuellar.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Gerson, thank you. Johan Duque.
Present, teacher.
Elkin Fernández. Julián Figueroa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Ginette Fontecha.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Carlos Galán.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mabel Gamboa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. José Alejandro Gómez. José Alejandro. And Lizeth Tarazona.
Present, teacher.
Very good. All right, guys, so let's start. Just a moment, please, and we will start. Okay, Jose, thank you. All right, very good. Okay, guys, so let's start our class, our session for today. Remember that yesterday we briefly saw the vocabulary about idioms that we had in the listening part, okay? So I want to play the audio one more time for us to check the use of the idioms, and then we will correct or check for the correct meaning in each one of the idioms, okay? Let's listen very quickly.
Unit 5, Recording 2.
Pay attention to the use of the idioms in the audio, okay? Fall hopelessly in with, keep an out for, is being with the truth, take what they read with a pinch of, telling little lies and stretch the too far. Okay, so let's listen one more time, pay attention, and then we will discuss the meaning of each idiom.
According to recent research, over 60% of new couples in the USA now meet online. But it's perhaps surprising that any of those relationships ever get started in the first place because over 80% of people lie in their online profile. Clearly, the temptation to exaggerate is just too great for most people. The most common lie that men tell is about their job. They exaggerate the importance of their job, or they lie about the industry that they work in. The most common lie is claiming to work in finance or the film industry. The men hope, presumably, that women will fall hopelessly in love with them on the first date and not care when they find out that he isn't really a film director but actually drives a taxi. Men also tend to claim that they have a PA when in fact they don't. Apart from their career, men are most likely to lie about their height and body shape, choosing, for example, to describe themselves as athletic or muscular rather than average build. The top two lies that women tell in their online profile concern their age and body shape. Women typically take 4 years off their true age and present themselves as slimmer than they actually are. They also tend to use a photo that is 1.5 years old, compared to men who use a photo that is 6 months old. So, if you want to know whether a profile that you are reading is mostly lies, keep an eye out for 3 things. Firstly, the number of times that the word I is used. The less often someone uses it, the more likely they are to be lying. Apparently, this reflects a desire to distance ourselves from our lies. Secondly, shorter profiles. These can be a sign that someone is being economical with the truth. People write shorter profiles when they want to avoid telling a lot of lies that they will have to remember later. The less information there is to remember, the easier it will be on the first meeting. And thirdly, keep an eye out for negative statements. People who are lying tend to prefer them to positive statements. For example, a liar will describe himself or herself as not boring or not sad, rather than exciting and happy. Some people say, however, that it is necessary to lie a little bit in your online profile. Perhaps it's even expected, because if you tell the truth, people will believe that you are older, less attractive, and less successful than you actually are. Most online daters know that they have to take what they read with a pinch of salt. Telling little white lies online can also have a positive benefit by encouraging you to live up to the standards that you set in your profile. It's best not to stretch the truth too far, however. One online dater called Karen posted her story on the web. She went to a restaurant expecting to meet a 29-year-old investment banker who enjoyed surfing, swimming, and going to the gym. The person who walked through the door, she wrote, was about 40 and wearing a supermarket uniform. He'd clearly used a photo that was over 10 years old. In those last 10 years, he definitely hadn't been to the gym.
All right, so let's check. The first one, what is the correct idiom, the complete idiom? To fall hopelessly in?
In love, teacher.
In love? Yes, with someone. Let's put it here, number 8. Okay, in love with them on the first date. Okay, give me just a moment, guys. Okay. Then the second one. If you want to know whether a profile that you are reading is mostly lies, keep an
I.
I out.
An eye out for these things. Keep an eye out for these things. Number 3, this can be a sign that someone is being with the truth.
Económico.
Económica.
Yes, is being economical. Economical with the truth. Very good. Number 4, most online daters know that they have to take what they read with a pinch of
Salt.
salt. To take it with a pinch of salt. Number 5, telling little
White.
white. White lies. Online can also have a positive benefit. And number 6, is best not to stretch the
Truth.
truth too far out there. The truth too far out there. All right, so we have examples of idioms in English. What is an idiom? Is an idiomatic expression that has a different meaning than the literal meaning, right? So for example here, to keep an eye out is not literally to take your eye and put it out, of course, right? So it's not literal. These are phrases that have different meanings than the literal one. So can you think about one example of an idiom maybe in Spanish?
Como tener cuidado o es mantenerse informado.
Yes, but I'm asking you about idioms o estas expresiones en español.
Expresiones. Echarle un
Modismos.
ojito.
Como
Yes.
echarle un ojito a algo.
Exactly. Echarle un ojo. These are similar expressions in Spanish, no? So another one can be, let me check. Another idioms in Spanish, que cuesta un ojo de la cara, right?
La pierna, por ejemplo.
Yes, no, estamos viendo en general otras expresiones, modismos en español. No es de
Puede
este
ser
mismo
tragado.
significado, cualquiera. Eso, estar tragado. It can be to be in love, estar enamorado, right? O hay gato encerrado. It's not literal. It's like something is hiding, right? Hay gato encerrado. So these are idioms. And in English, we also have all these expressions. So in the first one that we have is to fall hopelessly in love, okay? It's the same as to love someone, enamorarse perdidamente, ¿no? Hopelessly in love. Enamorarse perdidamente de alguien. The second one, now let's check the meaning. To keep an eye out for 3 things. How can we say this in Spanish? To keep an eye out.
Como poner cuidado o una
Yes.
atención.
Estar atento,
Alerta.
estar alerta, vigilar, all of this. To keep an eye out for 3 things. To be economical with the truth. What do you think this means?
Debe ser como decir toda la verdad o decir la verdad, teacher.
Okay, actually it's the opposite. Es lo opuesto. It's not
Ok.
telling.
No decir.
Not
Como ser muy
telling the
tacaño
full truth.
con la información que se está diciendo.
Yes, tiene ese sentido. It has that meaning of you are economical with the truth because you are not telling the full truth, okay? Only part of it. So it's like lying a little bit because you are not telling the full truth, only part of it. No decimos la verdad completa. Okay, number 4, and this one is very common in English, to take things with a pinch of salt. What do you think this means? To take things with a pinch of salt.
Literalmente con un
No
poco
comer
de sal.
entero.
Teacher, an idiom for this word can be like no tragarse la entera, por así decirlo.
Yes. Don't take the full story as truth. Or, yes, like no comer entero. Like take things with a pinch of salt. Don't believe everything you see. Just be careful, okay? It would be like, be careful. Take it with a pinch of salt, okay? Next we have little white lies. What are these? The little white lies.
Esas sí son como mentiras, pequeñas mentiras blancas que dicen uno.
Yes, Gerson?
Teacher, number 4, which is all the idioms to take with a pinch.
Okay, sorry. Is it only, sorry, is
Of
only
salt?
me?
Oh.
Only me that hears Gerson like cutting up? Or everyone?
No,
No,
teacher.
teacher, me
Teacher,
too.
What are this idiom? Which
Okay, I understand your question. So what's the meaning of take it with a pinch of salt? Yes, that's the question. It's like, do not believe everything that you are told. Don't believe everything, okay? Just be careful with the information. Like Silvia said, maybe in Spanish we can say like, no comer entero, no creas todo lo que te dicen, okay? Tómalo con cuidado. Take it with a pinch of salt. All right? Little white lies, yes, it's like small lies that do not harm people, okay? Que no causan daño, that they don't hurt other people. In Spanish, we can say maybe like mentiras piadosas, like something similar to this. All right. And finally, we have to stretch the truth. What do you think this means?
Es como
Stretch
cuando
the
alguien
truth.
está tratando de ablandar la verdad, de ablandar algo.
Not quite. This is the meaning of stretch the truth is like to lie a lot. Stretch the truth. Es el hecho de mentir, ¿no? Como de estirar la verdad. So you are telling lies. Okay? It's a way of saying that you are lying a lot. Yes, exactly. It's not something that is not completely honest, okay? Sería literalmente eso, como alargar o estirar la verdad. So, something to make something seem better than it actually is. Como hacer parecer algo mejor de lo que en realidad es, con mentiras, ¿no? Como estirando la verdad, añadiendo información que no es verdad, okay? Is lying. So these are the meaning of the idioms or these particular idioms that we have here. Okay, so before we go to the Kahoot, the quizzes and practice the idioms, I want to hear your opinions on these two questions. What are the advantages and disadvantages of online dating website? I want you to think. Maybe some advantages and some disadvantages of online dating websites. And also, I want to hear your opinion on this. Has anyone you know ever used a dating website? And what were his or her experiences in a dating website? Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to think about your answers, and then I will ask some of you to give your opinion. Advantages and disadvantages of online dating websites, and if you have any experiences with someone that you know, what do they think about these websites? Okay, let's have 2 minutes. All right, guys, so let's hear your opinions for questions 1 and 2. If you want to participate voluntarily, raise your hand. What are some advantages or disadvantages of online dating websites? All right, you can raise your hand, participate to answer the question. No? All right,
Yes,
so
teacher,
let's...
me.
Okay, Carlos, thank you.
For the first sentence,
Mhm.
the advantages is you can meet people in other countries within travel or spend time. And disadvantages is the normal situation, the people lie in the profile. And you
Mhm.
know the truth when you see in front.
Mhm. Yes, usually people tend to lie on these dating websites. All right, thank you, Carlos. Very good. All right, and Gerson, I see your hand.
Okay, teacher. Can you hear me, right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. About the first, I think advantage, you can find people with similar interests.
Mhm.
Um, additionally, you can find people when you don't have enough time to uh, to visit the different place.
Mhm. Yeah, to know people, like in real life, in activities in real life.
Where you usually know people. Uh, example, books.
Sorry. Gerson? No, sorry. No, sorry. Your connection is gone. Okay, thank you, Gerson. And about the second question.
I want to participate.
Okay, for the first, okay.
For me, an advantage is that it is an easy way to meet people from the comfort of your home. But about the disadvantage, there are a lot of perverts and stalkers and dangerous people.
Yes, I agree. This is like especially more dangerous for women, I would say, in general.
Yes, teacher.
All right. Okay, and I see Mabeli. Also, you want to participate?
Yes, teacher, but the first question.
Okay. Yes, tell me.
The advantage, I believe that you can meet new people, but the disadvantage is that you don't know what kind of people we are testing.
Yes, like we are talking, texting to, chatting with.
Yes, teacher. For example, you can be talking to a killer and you don't know it.
Yes. Yes, so I don't think it's that extreme like a killer, but yes, you can maybe find some people that are not very well intentioned, right? That they don't have the best intentions with you. So it can be a dangerous thing in some cases. So let's see the last question. If anyone wants to share something, you can do
teacher.
it. Okay.
I would like to talk about the one advantage and one disadvantages about online dating with websites.
Okay.
So advantage could be talking before meetings. For example, you can chat with people online and get to know them before deciding to meet with that person. And disadvantage could be limited information. For example, sometimes or some profiles may not give you the full information or picture of that person.
Yes, it's also true. You have very limited information about it. All right, very good. Okay, guys, thank you. So we will finish this part about the idioms with a short quizzes activity, and then we will finish the grammatical part of Unit 5, okay? So let's go to the quizzes. I will open the link for you. Let me just open the link and I will send it on the chat so you can participate in the activity. All right, guys, let's join the link. Okay, we have 10 participants. Let's start the game. All right, let's finish the activity and check your answers. Okay, Natalia, Jeanette, and Lisette, very good. It's all the girls today. Very good, we had very good results. Let's see it. Okay, so this activity was very easy. You had to organize the words for to write the idiom now, to keep an eye out for. Then we had with a pinch of salt. Then to be economical with the truth. Tell a few little white lies. And to fall helplessly in love. All right, very good. Okay, guys, so we can continue. Let's close it here. We're going to continue with the book. Let me open the book here. So now we're going to focus on the next language topic or grammatical topic. And to introduce this part, we're going to read the article about Ursula and Josh's blind date. So these two people, Josh and Ursula, had a blind date, and we're going to read about how did it go, okay? What does the article describe, and what does Ursula think of Josh? So we're going to answer these two questions. What does the article describe, and what does Ursula think of Josh? All right, let's start reading. Let's start. Blind date. So, Andres, can you start reading, please? Ursula Porter.
Okay, teacher. Ursula Porter, 26, library. Miss Web designer, Josh Franks, 28. Ursula and Josh. Hopes before the date. Johnny Depp or Colin Farrell, he's neither of those. First impression, pretty chilled out and interesting. I was hoping he'd be wearing a suit, but he wasn't. His outfit was unusual. All right, remind you of anyone, my father.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Let's continue with another student. Thank you. Gerson, can you continue? Conversation topics, awkward moments, and similarities.
Okay, teacher. Conversation topics, our education, career goals, favorite films, blah, 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 blah. Standard first date conversation. Awkward moments. There was a very embarrassing incident when a bit of the lobster he was eating landed on my dress. Similarities between you. Neither of us are motivated by money. I think that's a good thing.
Okay, and to finish, we have marks out of 10 and another meeting. So marks out of 10, de 1 a 10. She said, I'll be generous and give him a 6. Is there going to be another meeting? She says, probably not. All right. So let's check. Their hopes, sus esperanzas for the date were, she said, Johnny Depp or Colin Farrell. You know these actors, right? So he was not one of, or didn't look like neither of the actors. What is the first impression? What is pretty chilled out? Why do you understand? What do you understand by this? Pretty chilled out.
Teacher, I know that chill out es como, it's like relajarse.
Yes.
But pretty chilled out.
All right, so the word pretty, as you know, alone, if I say the house is pretty, is bonito, right? Pretty. If I say the house is pretty big, what do you understand by this? If I say the house is pretty big.
Un poco grande.
Mm,
Muy
not,
grande.
not a little, but pretty is very big, okay? In this case, it's synonym to very. So, pretty chilled out. Muy tranquilo, muy relajado. Pretty chilled out and interesting. She was hoping he was wearing a suit, un traje, suit, but he wasn't. And she said his outfit was unusual. He reminds her of her father. What did the conversation go about education, career, goals, favorite movies, etc. It's a standard conversation. Awkward? What is awkward? Remember? Like, what is awkward?
Remind.
Raro, incómodo. Yes, awkward. Raro, incómodo. There was a very embarrassing incident when a bit of the lobster. Do you know what is a lobster?
No.
You guys
No.
know? No? Have you heard about lobster?
No, never.
Okay. This is a
Uy, no.
lobster. This is a lobster. Okay, it's a very expensive dish, the lobster. So a bit of the lobster he was eating landed on her dress. So one piece of lobster landed on her dress. What is the similarity? That they are not motivated by money. And she gives him a 6 out of 10, says that yes. And she thinks probably not meeting again. All right, so let's answer the question. What does the article describe? What is the article describing?
Late.
The first meet.
The date, but from whose side of the story? Which side?
Ursula.
Ursula. Is Ursula's side of this story. And what is her opinion of Josh in general? Does she like him or not very much? What does she think of him?
Not very much, I think.
Yeah, she doesn't like him very much. She says they are not going to meet again, probably. So she's not very attracted to him, right? Well, that was the reading part. We read Ursula's side, opinion. Now we're going to listen, about Josh's opinion of the date, okay? I want you to listen and make some notes about his answers, okay? Then we're going to answer the question. Who is kinder? Kind. Remember kind or kinder? What is this? Kind?
Amable.
Right. Amable. So who is kinder? ¿Quién es más amable? And who is crueler? Más cruel. About the other. So Ursula or Josh? Let's listen and then you're going to answer this question. Who is kinder and who is meaner or crueler about the other person? Okay? Ursula or Josh? So let's start listening.
Unit 5, Recording 3.
Can you hear the recording?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
So, Josh, could you tell me what you were looking for before the date, I mean?
Oh, well, I guess I was hoping that she'd be the one for me, you know. A mix between Beyonce and Ava Peron. Ursula wasn't that.
Wasn't your first impression of Ursula good?
Oh, no, it was really good. Excellent. She looked great. I've got no idea what she thought of me, though.
That's always the problem, isn't it? OK, so who did she remind you of?
Well, no one in particular, really. But if I had to choose one person, it would be my sister.
OK, and, oh yes, what did you talk about? You know, what topics?
I think we talked about films and books and that sort of stuff. You know, cultural stuff. But, to be honest, most of the time I was so busy trying to eat my lobster that I wasn't listening to what she was saying.
Oh, that doesn't sound very good.
I know. Lobster probably wasn't the best choice, really.
So, did you have any awkward moments?
Well, at one point, a piece of my lobster flew off my plate and landed on her dress. But luckily, I don't think she noticed.
You don't think she noticed?
Oh, no. Did she?
You'll have to read the magazine to find out.
Oh.
Now, how similar are you and Ursula?
Well, I think we're actually quite similar. We both get stressed out on first dates.
OK, and finally, what marks out of 10 would you give Ursula?
Oh, I hate that question. I'd have to say 7, possibly 7.5.
OK. Well, thanks. That's... Oh, sorry, I forgot. One last question.
Sure, no problem.
I wanted to ask if you'd want to meet Ursula again.
Oh, yes, definitely. But just as friends, I think.
Great. Well, thanks very much. I hope that you have more success next time.
All right, guys. So let's check what notes could you get for Josh's side of the story. So let's compare with what we have in the first part. What were his hopes for the date? Did you get any information about this? What was he hoping for? In the date or no? In this case, we didn't get the information.
Teacher Beyonce.
He says yes,
Yeah.
like a mix of Beyonce and
Peron.
Eva Peron, I think he said. But of course, she was not similar to any of these women, okay? Then what was his first impression of Ursula?
Was really good.
Yes, he said his
She
impression
looks
was...
great.
Looked great.
Yes, she looked great. He had a good impression about her. Okay. Then it reminded him of anyone?
His
Sister.
His sister. Yes, his sister. Any conversation topics?
Film and books.
Oh, yeah, films,
Magazine?
movies, books, magazines. Yes. And then what is the awkward moment that he found about the lobster?
was the same, and he thought that she didn't
She didn't notice.
notice that.
Yes. So he also mentioned the lobster incident, but he thought that she didn't notice this. All right. And then any similarities between them? Maybe he said that he gets, or they both get stressed out in first dates. Like they both get stressed. This is one similarity between them. Then you had marks or points out of 10. So from 1 to 10. What is the mark that he gave her?
7.
7.5.
Yes, he said 7 or 7.5. And did they mention anything about another meeting?
Yes, but
Yeah.
but how?
Was
Like friends?
Yes, but maybe as friends. All right, good. So, okay, guys, so the important part here is to pay attention to the questions because this is the topic or the grammatical topic that we need to cover for today. More complex question forms. So, in the next part of the exercise, we're going to listen one more time and you're going to try to take note of all the questions that the interviewer asks or the journalist asks Josh, okay? So pay attention to the question, try to write it down, and then we will compare the answers, okay? We are going to listen second time.
Unit 5, Recording 3.
So, Josh, could you tell me what you were looking for before the date, I mean?
That is the first one, what we have as an example. Could you tell me what you were looking for?
Oh, well, I guess I was hoping that she'd be the one for me, you know. A mix between Beyonce and Ava Peron. Ursula wasn't that.
Wasn't your first impression of Ursula good?
Oh, no. Oh, it was really good. Excellent. She looked great. I've got no idea what she thought of me, though.
That's always the problem, isn't it? Okay, so who did she remind you of?
Well, no. No one in particular, really. But if I had to choose one person, it would be my sister.
Okay, and, oh yes, what did you talk about? You know, what topics?
I think we talked about films and books and that sort of stuff. You know, cultural stuff. But, to be honest, most of the time I was so busy trying to eat my lobster that I wasn't listening to what she was saying.
Oh, that doesn't sound very good.
I know. Lobster probably wasn't the best choice, really.
So, did you have any awkward moments?
Well... Well, at one point, a piece of my lobster flew off my plate and landed on her dress. But luckily, I don't think she noticed.
You don't think she noticed?
Oh no, did she?
You'll have to read the magazine to find out.
Oh.
Now, how similar are you and Ursula?
Well, I think we're actually quite similar. We both get stressed out on first dates.
Okay, and finally, what marks out of 10 would you give Ursula?
Oh. Oh, I hate that question. I'd have to say 7, possibly 7.5.
Okay, well, thanks, that's... Oh, sorry, I forgot. One last question.
Sure, no problem.
I wanted to ask if you'd want to meet Ursula again.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. But just as friends, I think.
Great. Well, thanks very much. I hope that you have more success next time.
All right, guys. So tell me, did you get most of the questions? Some of them? None of them?
Some of them, teacher.
Some of them?
Some.
Okay. Okay, partial, some of them. All right, let's see. Can you write on the chat some of the questions that you understood? So after Could you tell me what you were looking for? What was the next question? Can you, anyone write it on the chat? What did you get after? Could you tell me what you were looking for? Write it on the chat or tell me.
Teacher, the second question
Mm-hmm.
wasn't your first impression?
Yes, that is the question. Wasn't your first impression, let's write it on the chat. Wasn't your first impression of Ursula good? Oh, good. Wasn't your first impression of Ursula good? This is the second question, sorry. What was number 3? I think Mavely sent me the answer. Who did she remind you of? That was the third question. Who did she remind you of? Then, what was question number 4?
What did you tell about?
What did you talk about? What did you talk about? What topics? This is question number 4. Then number 5.
Did you have any awkward moments?
Did you have any awkward moments? Number 6.
How similar are you with?
Okay, before he said that, how similar? She asked, you don't think she noticed? Yes, Natalia?
Yes, teacher. You don't think she noticed?
You don't think she noticed? All right, then number 7 we have, how similar, then Julian said, how similar are you and Ursula? That was number 7. Number 8. What marks out of 10 would you give Ursula? ¿Qué puntaje? ¿Cuántos puntos? What marks out of 10 would you give Ursula? Number 9. The last question.
I want to ask if you.
Okay, but you're it's missing the rest of the question. So I wanted to ask if you wanted.
You want to meet Ursula again?
If you wanted to meet Ursula again. All right. So let me show you here. Here are the answers on the screen so you can see them. Wasn't your first impression of Ursula good? Who did she remind you of? What did you talk about? You know, what topics? So, did you have any awkward moments? You don't think she noticed? How similar are you and Ursula? What marks out of 10 would you give Ursula? And I wanted to ask you if you would want to meet Ursula again. So, all of these questions have something in common, and is that they are a little bit more complex than our average or regular normal questions, okay? Let's take a look. For example, here we have a negative question. Was your first impression of Ursula good? Then we have, who did she remind you of? This is called a preposition. What did you talk about? This is also a preposition, talk about. So, did you have any awkward moments? This is, this is a bit more normal question. Then in the other one, we have, you don't think she noticed. What did you find a bit complex or different in this question? Can anyone identify why is this question a bit different?
Está siendo negativa.
Is negative, okay. But remember,
starts with the pronouns.
Yes, this is like a normal negative sentence, only with the question intonation, ¿ok? Aquí no cambiamos la estructura de la pregunta como normalmente lo hacemos, con el do al principio, sino simplemente le damos la entonación. You don't think she noticed? La entonación de pregunta, ¿ok? That is what is a bit more complex or different about this question. Then, how similar are you and Ursula? What marks out of 10 would you give her? And then we have, I wanted to ask you, this is a bit or an indirect question. Quería preguntarte, sí, okay, this is a bit of an indirect question. All right, so these are some examples. Now we're going to take a look at the grammatical part, read the explanation, and see some other examples in these cases, okay? So this is just for you to look at the examples, pay attention to each part of the structure. But now we are going to move to the grammar part and explain it a little further, okay? So for that, we're going to open the book on page 144. Okay, page 144. All right, so we're going to start on more complex question forms. Esas son algunas estructuras de pregunta un poco más complejas, ¿no? Avanzadas. Let's take a look at the first type of complex questions, are compound questions, preguntas compuestas, compound questions. This is, after we have what or which, we can use a noun. So pay attention. Después de un which o el what, podemos usar un sustantivo para hacer una pregunta. Entonces sería, ¿cuál restaurante? ¿Qué información? ¿Ok? Which o what más un sustantivo. Which cell phone do you prefer? ¿Ok? Or what food is your favorite? ¿Ok? After which o what podemos usar un sustantivo para hacer una pregunta. Which restaurant did you go to? What information do you need? ¿A cuál restaurante fuiste? ¿Qué información necesitas? Okay? Any questions about this, the compound question, for which or with what? Es para preguntar cuál, ¿no? ¿Cuál lugar, cuál o qué cosa prefieres o visitaste, etc. Okay?
Which is, it's more specific that what?
Yes, when we say what is a bit more general. When I say which, maybe I'm referring to 2 or 3 options. So I can say, which pen do you prefer? Pink or green, okay? Which one? ¿Cuál? ¿Cuál prefieres? Oh, guys, sorry. Something in my eye. Which pen do you prefer? Okay? But what is a bit more general. What brand of cars do you like the most? ¿Qué marca de carros te gusta más? Okay? So what is more general, which is more specific.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Then we continue with how. After how, we can use adjective or adverb. Entonces después tenemos el cómo, ¿no? Cómo, en este caso sería, ¿qué tan confiable? No cómo, sino, ¿qué tanto? El how. How trustworthy do you think he is? ¿Qué tan confiable crees que es él? O how quickly can you get here? ¿Qué tan rápidamente puedes llegar acá? How quickly, ¿ok? Entonces es la manera. How, con un adjetivo, how big is your car? How small is your apartment, okay? ¿Qué tan grande es su carro? ¿Qué tan pequeño es tu apartamento? How quickly can you get here? ¿Qué tan rápido puedes llegar acá? How well can you cook? ¿Qué tan bien puedes cocinar? Okay? So with how, adjectives or adverbs. All right? Is it clear so far? Which or how?
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Teacher,
continue. Yes.
what is the meaning of trustworthy? Excuse me, I don't...
Confiable, trustworthy. Es un adjetivo, confiable, trustworthy. Okay. Then we have questions with prepositions. Ahora vamos a las preposiciones. Some verbs and other adjectives can take prepositions. So, rely on, apoyarse en, algunos verbos toman preposiciones. Talk about, hablar sobre algo. O to be frightened of, también adjetivos, tener miedo de algo, to be frightened of. Okay? There are some verbs in particular that can take prepositions. When the preposition comes after the verb or adjective, we cannot omit the preposition in the question. Entonces, cuando hay un verbo que lleva una preposición o un adjetivo que lleva preposición, como estos ejemplos, rely on, talking about, también el thinking about something, okay? Listening to, escuchar a algo. Hay varios verbos que llevan siempre una preposición. In the question, we have to include the preposition. Who do you rely on? ¿En quién te apoyas o sí, te soportas? Who do you rely on? What were you talking about? ¿De qué estaban hablando? What were you talking about? Or what are you frightened of? ¿De qué tienes miedo? Okay, so the preposition always needs to go at the end of the question. Okay, preposition goes at the end of the question. Okay? Questions about this? All right, let's continue. So we have then statements and negative questions. Lo que estábamos viendo de las preguntas como oraciones normales o preguntas negativas. A statement with a rising intonation often function as question. Entonces, una afirmación con la entonación hacia arriba, rising intonation, funcionan, toman la función de pregunta. They are used to express surprise at what someone has said or just to check information. Entonces, estas preguntas no las podemos hacer siempre, ¿ok? Se usan en cuáles casos, cuando queremos demostrar sorpresa o para chequear la información, ¿no? Revisar la información. For example, I bought 3 pairs of shoes. You bought 3 pairs of shoes. Entonces, acá estoy casi que repitiendo lo que la persona me dice, solo cambio el sujeto y agrego la entonación de pregunta. I bought 3 pairs of shoes. You bought 3 pairs of shoes. I am showing surprise, okay, about this information. And then the other example, Sophie arrived yesterday. She arrived yesterday. Entonces no decimos, did she arrive yesterday? No, simplemente queremos chequear la información. She arrived yesterday. I thought she was arriving today. Okay? Ella llegó ayer. Pensé que llegaría hoy. Okay? So this is to show surprise or to check the information. All right? Okay, questions, guys, about this? The statements? Okay, continuing. Then we have negative questions that also express surprise, an opinion, or to check that information is correct, okay? Didn't you like the book? Las preguntas negativas también para mostrar sorpresa, nuestra opinión o chequear la información. Didn't you like the book? ¿No te gustó el libro? Don't you think it would be better if you talked to her? Entonces, este es sorpresa, surprise. Don't you think it would be better if you talked to her? Eso es una opinión. ¿No crees que sería mejor si le hablaras? Si hablaras con ella? This is an opinion I'm giving. Or to check the information. Doesn't it start at 2? ¿No empieza a las 2? I am checking the information to see if it is correct. Okay? These are the 3 uses of negative questions. And how do we answer a negative question? Let's take a look. For example, someone asks me, didn't you hear what I said? No, I didn't. This means, what did you say? I didn't hear what you said. Or, yes, I did. You said you were late. Entonces la pregunta nos dice, ¿no escuchaste lo que dije? No, no lo hice. Ahí estoy diciendo, ¿puedes repetir? ¿Qué dijiste? No, no lo hice. O, sí, sí lo hice. Dijiste esto, ¿ok? This is optional. You don't have to say what is in parentheses. You can only say like, no, I didn't, or yes, I did. So if the question is using did, the auxiliary did, we answer using the same auxiliary, didn't or did in each case. If here we have, doesn't it start at 2? No empieza a las 2. We can say, no, it doesn't, or yes, it does, okay? So it depends on the auxiliary to answer the question. We can say does, did. It depends on the question, okay? This is for negative questions. Then we have the indirect questions. Let's see someone that can help me reading because my throat is hurting. Let's see, Mabel, can you read about indirect questions, please?
Okay, teacher. Indirect questions. Indirect questions are often more polite or more formal than normal questions. Use phrase like, could you tell me at the start of the questions? We use affirmative words ordered in indirect questions.
Okay. Read the examples, please.
Will you tell me where the bank is? Do you know if that restaurant is open? I wanted to know what you thought of her.
Okay, very good. Let's check here. It's important that we know this and that we practice. Indirect questions are often start with, could you tell me? Do you know if? Or I wanted to know. Estas frases son para una pregunta indirecta, son más formales, ¿ok? O más educadas, more polite. Could you tell me where the bank is? ¿Cuál es la otra? El otro recordatorio o recomendación que nos hacen. Si yo hiciera esta pregunta, normalmente sería, where is the bank? ¿Cierto? Esa es la estructura de pregunta. Where is the bank? Pregunta WH, el verbo is y luego el complemento, the bank. Aquí, como es una pregunta indirecta, mantenemos la estructura de la oración afirmativa, es decir, normal. Can you tell me where el banco es? Okay. Could you tell me where the bank is? Aquí no cambiamos. Could you tell me where is the bank? No. All right. When we use an indirect question, we maintain the affirmative structure. Mantenemos la estructura afirmativa. ¿Me puedes decir dónde está el banco? Where the bank is. Okay. For example, the other one. Do you know if the restaurant is open? Tratemos de hacer esa pregunta de forma normal, si no fuera indirecta, sino de manera directa. ¿Cómo la harían? Do you know if the restaurant is open?
Yes, teacher.
¿Cómo sería? Si no digo, ¿tú sabes si el restaurante está abierto? Sino simplemente más directa.
Is the restaurant open?
Yes, good. Is the restaurant open? Entonces, aquí sí tenemos estructura de pregunta. Empezamos con is. Aquí, como es indirecta, mantenemos la estructura afirmativa. Do you know if that restaurant is open? Okay? And for the last one, I wanted to know what you thought of her. Quería saber qué pensaste de ella. Pensemos, think, ¿cómo lo haríamos de manera directa?
What do you think of her?
What
did
you think of her? Muy bien. Entonces, como es una oración en pasado, debemos, una oración directa, pregunta directa sería con did y el verbo vuelve a su forma original, think. Pero como es indirecta, mantenemos la estructura afirmativa. I wanted to know what you thought of her. Lo que pensaste de ella. ¿Ok? ¿O qué pensaste de ella? All right? Are we clear about this, guys? Yes, no,
So,
so.
teacher.
Yes, don't worry. You are going to learn this by practicing. It's very, very easy, or it's easier when we practice, okay? Another phrases that we can use for indirect questions. Otra frase que podemos usar. I wonder, me pregunto, I wonder, or tell me, dime cuándo, tell me when. Can you remind me? ¿Me puedes recordar? Can you remind me? O I would like to know, I would love to know, me encantaría saber, me gustaría saber. Todas son frases de preguntas indirectas. Tell me when you are ready to leave. Dime cuando estés listo para irte. O can you remind me what time our flight is? ¿Me puedes recordar a qué horas es nuestro vuelo? Igual seguimos la misma regla, la estructura afirmativa cuando es pregunta indirecta, ¿ok? Lo que estábamos hablando, don't use do or did in the present simple and past simple. No hacemos uso de la estructura de preguntas directas. I wanted to know what you think of her. No, I wanted to know what did you think of her, ¿ok? O, could you tell me if there is a bank near here? Do you know whether the meeting is going ahead? También podemos usar if o whether para que nos digan yes or no. ¿Ok? ¿Me puedes decir si hay un banco cerca? If there is a bank near here. ¿Sabes si la reunión se va a llevar a cabo? Whether the meeting is going ahead. Acá el if y el whether tienen el mismo significado. Sí. ¿Ok? Si hay un banco cerca, si la reunión se va a llevar a cabo. All right, if or when. So far we have compound questions, which, what, how, or with nouns and with adjectives. Then we have prepositions. Then we have negative questions and statements. We have indirect questions, okay? And the last one is very short, very easy, is other ways of asking questions. For example, this phrase, what on earth are you doing? It's like excitement expression, como que en español, como diríamos, como qué diablos estás haciendo, ¿no? Es como, what on earth are you doing? It's like you are surprised or excited. What on earth are you doing? Or where exactly or precisely do you think it is? Es para hacer la pregunta más fuerte, ¿no? A stronger question, okay? What on earth are you doing? Or where exactly, where precisely do you think it is? All right, guys, so let's practice a little bit. I want you to complete this exercise, practice number 2, with the correct question word, okay? The missing word. We have 10, so let's read the first one as an example. Which cafe do you want to go to? Okay? I'm going to give you some time, some minutes to check the other sentences, the other exercises, and then we will compare the answers together. Okay, this is on page 144. Guys, remember to let me know when you finish so we can check the answers together. Okay, I think you are ready. So let's start checking. Let's start with Jeanette. So for the second sentence, how did you complete it?
No, teacher, I don't know.
You don't have the answer? Okay, let's see. Anyone has the answer, maybe? Just see it.
How much?
How much?
How
No.
much do you know her? It can be an option, but in the book it suggested, well, yes, Natalia?
Yes, teacher,
Yes,
well.
good. How much do you know her? ¿Cuánto la conoces o qué tan bien la conoces? How well do you know her? Okay? How well do you know her? All right. Let's see. Johan, for the third one. Food are you going to take to the picnic?
Which?
Which food? Yes, it can
What?
be which or what. In this case, I think it's better what, it's more general. So what food are you bringing, are you going to take to the picnic, okay? We can say what. All right, thank you, Johan. Then Jose, for number 4.
How surprised
Mhm.
was he when he saw you at the station?
Yes, it's good. How surprised was he when he saw you at the station? It's correct. Okay, continuing with Julian. 5.
Okay, 5. Which airport are you flying into?
Which airport are you flying into? Great. Okay. Then Lisette, number 6.
What are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about? Is good. What are you thinking about? Okay. And then Sylvia, who is she married?
Who she married to?
Yes, who is she married to? Okay, let's continue with number 8, Mavely. What are they famous?
Teacher, in the 7 we can use who is she married with?
Yes, but it's more common to say to. I'm married to this person, okay? Not with, is not very common. It's not incorrect, but it's more common to say to.
Okay.
Okay?
Teacher, I don't have the answer.
What are they famous for is the answer. What are they famous for? Number 9, let's see, Natalia. Who are you shouting?
Teacher, I'm not sure, but is who are you shouting at?
Yes, who are you shouting at? ¿A quién le estás gritando? And just it, the last one. How have you known her?
How long?
Yes,
Sorry,
good.
how long?
How long have you known her? Yes, it's correct. Okay, guys, excellent. So remember, you can continue practicing on the book on that page 144 with the other exercises. I want you to get a bit more practice, and because we didn't have any written assignments yet in this part of the class, I want you to write some questions, okay? Let's do as many questions as possible in the last 10 minutes, maybe 2-3 questions using these ideas, okay? Y write a question for each set of prompts in the box. Tenemos algunas ideas. So, what do you like talking about? Por ejemplo, entonces ahí están las ideas. Vamos a escribir algunas preguntas usando estas ideas, ¿ok? Algunas pueden ser 2, 3, las que alcancemos durante estos 10 minutos, ¿ok? You're going to do it in couples. All right, is it clear what we need to do?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, I'll send you the link for the activity. It's very quick. Okay, let's open the link. And let me create the breakout rooms very, very quickly. Okay. ¿Hay alguien desde los dispositivos? Yes. Andrés. ¿Alguien más? No more? All right, guys, let's go. Let's open the breakout rooms. Lisette, can you go to the breakout room, please?
¿No?
Sí. Hello,
Yes.
teacher.
Hi, teacher.
Hello.
The box. He tenido problemas, profe, es que me toca conectarme por 2 dispositivos porque no sé por qué mi laptop no me deja hablar, entonces me toca hablar por el celular y escuchar por la laptop. Es complicadísimo y no se he tratado de buscar las formas de arreglarlo, pero es que lo otro es formatear el equipo, pero como tengo mucha información de trabajo y demás, entonces me queda como más complejo sacar el tiempo porque es mucha información, porque
Sí,
me dicen que de
claro.
pronto fue un virus que afecta internamente a ciertas aplicaciones de audio y sonido, porque en Meet En Meet no
También.
tengo ese problema.
Ah,
No,
ok.
en Meet no tengo, es curiosísimo porque en Meet no.
Y
Y he
ya has
tratado de buscar.
actualizado Zoom varias
Claro,
veces,
ya lo
¿sabes?
desinstalé, ya miré la tarjeta de gráficas y de pronto tenía que ver algo con gráficos o con algún software o algún un driver que tenía que actualizar. No, es súper raro. Voy a mirar a ver si saco un tiempo. Sí.
Ok.
Ok, teacher. Carlos, what the question for?
I am.
The first can be what are you worried about?
Yes. What are you? También puede ser also like most care about, what dream about, what you are dream, what are you dream about?
What do you dream
What
about?
do you dream about? So in that kind of question, we can use the do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you dream about?
On who and depend on. Okay. Who do you depend? No. Who do?
Where did you
Where
grow up?
did you grow up? Yes. I wish.
Which jokes make you laugh?
Other question.
Yeah, which jokes or what jokes
Qualities.
make you laugh?
Which jokes make
About. And 3 is what did
What did
What
you
did-
dream about?
what did you dream about? What did you dream about?
Plastic surgery. Short time to finish the
Yes.
activity. Teacher.
Yes, I know you couldn't do all of them. I'm sorry we didn't have more time, but it's okay if you did some of them. The idea was for you to practice a bit more about complex questions, okay? So you can, I will check them tomorrow and make some necessary observations or corrections on the questions. So tomorrow you can check that, okay? I see some of you finished, some of you didn't, and it's okay, okay? Don't worry if you didn't do all of them, at least 2 or 3, it is fine, all right? So remember, guys, you can continue this practice. It's important that you do it like outside of the class because we have many topics to cover, so it's not possible to do like all the exercises in the book while we are in the class. So I will recommend you doing the exercises number 2 and 3 in the book, all right? Page 144, just to get the extra practice for the complex questions, okay? Points number 2 and number 3 in page 144, okay? Remember, if you do these exercises and you have more questions about this topic tomorrow, you can ask me. We can make a little review before continuing with the other topics, okay? So please continue practicing, and if you have questions, you can let me know in tomorrow's class, okay?
Okay, teacher, thank
Okay,
you.
Right,
teacher,
guys?
thank you. Bye.
Guys, bye-bye.
Bye.
Tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.